Hello, my name is Thibaut Jaberg, and this is the beginning of day 9 of the Wobbly Violin build. So this is how far I got in 8 days of working, and I have now arrived at the point where I am ready to assemble all those components. Apart from the fingerboard, I'm hoping to be finishing the fingerboard today. And yes, I will talk you through all the parts one by one. I have the rib garland. I think I already talked about it a little bit in the last video because I didn't actually do anything to it since the last update that I filmed. Yeah, it's just a very standard rib garland, apart from the fact that it's all wobbly and asymmetrical. I've got standard rib thicknesses of 1.1 millimeters. I have linings that are, I think, just under 2 millimeters thick, willow, which I cut. I gave them like a bit of a profile, so they have like an angle, like a large chamfer cut into them. And yeah, otherwise it's just a very normal rib structure, rib garland. And then the back is finished as well, ready for gluing to the ribs. And yeah, it's like fairly plain, not very spectacular maple. I have fairly low arching heights, not super low, but this is 14 millimeters on the back, and on the belly I have, I think, a good 13.5 millimeters of arching height. So for the standards, for example, compared to what we build here at the school, this is on the lower side, but obviously some people build even lower, and some historical instruments have even lower archings than this. And yeah, I've thicknessed this back to relatively thin. In the thinnest areas around here, and up there, I am below, or like well below 2 millimeters, around 1.7, I believe, like the thinnest points. And yeah, these are only small areas which are as thin as this, and I'm around sort of 2 millimeters, 2.2 in the edges, and the thickest part I am at 4.5 millimeter in the center of the C-bouts there. And yeah, I've got I think a decent little amount of flexibility if I like twist them like the way I usually check the stiffness. Yeah, I have a fair amount of flexibility, which I think is good. And the weight, I'm at 97 grams, if I remember correctly, which I think is quite good. I like to be just under 100 grams. I don't know why, it's just my gut feeling at the moment. And the belly. You saw me cut the F-holes on camera. They are now finished. This is how they look. Yeah, I cleaned them up quite a bit using the knife. And yeah, we've got like a funny little expression going on, like a characterful expression. I think they have those F-holes. And yeah, also thicknessed it to not too thick. I can't remember exactly the thicknesses, but I'm like the thinnest parts, I think 2.1 millimeter around the where the sound post is gonna go. I'm at slightly over 3 millimeters. And yeah, fairly light. I think the wood is also fairly light. It's quite a fine-grained piece of spruce. not super fine, but like decent and very evenly spaced. And I think it's quite light, and the finished weight with the bass bar is 60 grams. So yeah, I like that. And the bass bar, you can see I did this yesterday. It's got like, it's not very high in the center, it's below 12 millimeters in the center, but it's like it keeps the same height, or like the long profile of the top of the bass bar is like completely straight or even slightly curved in this direction. It hasn't got this traditional shape that a lot of bass bar has, with this curve and this recurve on both ends, this sort of cowboy hat shaped, or yeah, it's completely straight. And the idea behind this is to have the same stiffness everywhere, and not to have like a big piece of mass of heavy material under the bridge and then have sort of a weak point on each side. My idea is to have it sort of fairly light under the bridge, so that I don't have too much dampening mass under the bridge, but then have this stiffness sort of carry out all the way to the edges, to the ends of the bass bar. So yeah, that's my idea anyway. But yeah, so far they have worked more or less, and who knows, maybe I'm gonna change it one day, but so far it works. And the scroll, I also finished the scroll, neck, peg box, everything yesterday. Yeah, it also turned nice and wobbly, I think. And as you can see, I didn't finish the fluting all the way down in the tradition of Testore and Fridolin Rouge. They were both my inspirations for not completing the flutings on the peg box back then. And yeah, it saves a bit of time, saves a bit of work, and also it leaves the peg box stronger. And yeah, sort of nice and wobbly. And yeah, the neck is almost ready. I just need to plane the gluing surface here completely flat. And yeah, then the fingerboard. I then need to finish the fingerboard, and then I'm ready for assembling. The fingerboard is a piece of olive wood which I found, and it's super hard. So I haven't worked with olive wood a lot yet. This is, I think, the third or fourth time that I'm working with olive wood. But I'm amazed, it's like rock hard. It's like with my nail I have no chance of making a mark in it. And even if I take like a metal tool and try and scrape it, it feels like bone basically. So I don't know if all olive woods are as hard as this, but this one is really rock hard. It's every bit as hard as ebony. Like, I even feel like it's harder than the last piece of African ebony that I've worked with. So yeah, this is just a very rough blank of ebony. Yeah, and I'm gonna work this into a fingerboard, and I hope that it will work. I mean, hardness is certainly there, that's no problem. Question will be stability and cracks. I know that olive wood is quite prone to cracking, and in fact I currently have a crack here, which I'm hope is gonna go out once I planed the final shape. But yeah, that's sort of it basically. So yeah, today I'm hoping to finish this fingerboard, glue it onto the neck, plane the gluing surface first, and then I think what I'm gonna do next is glue the belly onto the rib garland. And then, since I have this cross mold, what I will do is try out the technique of setting the neck in next once I glued the belly, while the cross is still in place, and then I'm gonna glue the back on. So yeah, I think that's it for this update, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.